Well, hello there, fellow navigators. So let's do a little simple math. 1, 2, 3, and 4. She's here. Let's go take a look at our newest edition, the J&L 62. So we just got back from our trip out to Colorado last night, and we beat the truck back by about 45 minutes or so, and got her backed into here last night, and Monday morning we're going to unload her. So let's take a look. So this locomotive is 10 years newer than the 58, and built 1947, and kind of towards the end of what Porter was building in steam. And so that means that if they stopped using the steam at J&L in 1959, which I think that's when they did, that would mean this locomotive only had 12 years of use versus 22 years of use for 58 and 57. So there's some minor differences to it, mostly the same, but there's a few different changes because it is 10 years newer. So when this locomotive was retired in 1959, it went to Crown in the early 60s, still had the tank on it. In 1970, the tank was removed and it was shipped out to Colorado. When it got out to Colorado, it was kept inside of a shed or under a tarp all that time until now. So that means that look at how nice this stuff is. When some of the other locomotives, you had a lot of corrosion, heavy corrosion in some areas. Just look how nice this thing looks. This is not going to take much at all to polish this stuff up. So you don't have that heavy corrosion on this thing like we did with the other locomotives, and that's wonderful. One of the other things that we have is that these driver tires, they got a little bit of wear. We got a few miles on them, but it's really good tread. So those are great tires we're not going to have to do anything with. The boiler itself is in exceptionally good shape looking at the outside. And even on every other locomotive that we had a little issue with corrosion back here, right at the bottom of the front tube sheet. And as you can see, there's not all that much. There's a little bit, but not much, because it was not left out in the weather for that to get wet and stay wet. So that's also a great sign. Yeah, I think we really lucked out with this one. She's in pretty decent shape, and also it came with a whole firebox full of goodies. So here is one of the pressure valves, last inspected 1953. There was another pressure valve, which is in the caboose now. It has a date of 1959. So that tells me that, well, she ran up until at least 1959, but I think that was probably close to the end. Also, this was the plate that went on the front of the locomotive. We'll probably end up sticking that on the 57 once we do the restoration on it. And here are the smoke box door dogs, the hinges, a Garfield not lubricator, but a injector. There's a lubricator, a 2-feed Detroit hydrostatic lubricator. Various other bits and pieces, and they all came in actual Crown Metal Products boxes made out to Boulder Scientific, and that's where it went to when it went to Colorado. And it was also wrapped up in newspaper that was from June of 1970. So it tells us that it was right around 1970 when this thing was all packaged up and headed west. Here's another neat thing. None of our other locomotives are in good enough shape that the L boiler stamp, ASME locomotive boiler stamp, serial number, and all that are visible. So having those numbers means that we can go and get the birth certificate for the locomotive. Another thing here is that I don't know if you can see it, but it says locomotive. There's some wording. It says 55,000. So 55,000. That's the tensile strength of that sheet. So this is actual. We have the actual stamping on that is firebox sheet. I mean, none of our other boilers can you see any of this stuff because there's just that too much corrosion on it. Let's see what else we have going on here. Oh, here, this is neat. February 1954 of the date that this spring was made. And look at it. I mean, this is still mill scale on there. This thing is in great shape. So once we get her off the truck, heck, one of the first things I'm going to do is we're going to clean up all the plugs here and plug it up and put some water in it, see if it holds water. And assuming it does, we're going to take the dome lid off, plumb a steam line over into this, and then basically just put steam in it full of water and just kind of bubble and boil a lot of the crap that's in there out. Any of the dirt and the nests and all that stuff. Just kind of boil it all out of the boiler, and then drain all that out, and then do a hydro test, and let's see where we're at. Go through and we'll drill out all the telltales, and then check to make sure that we don't have any broken stay bolts. And just get a good idea of the health of the boiler. I just ordered a ultrasonic tester, so we'll do some testing of the sheets as well. Yeah, you can see we have a full set of grates on this. So for what, $10,000 plus another $10,000 to get it here. So for 20 grand, we got ourselves a really nice locomotive. And also what came with this, when they got the locomotive from Crown, they had new driver tires that Crown got from Jones and Laughlin when they got the 6 engines. So we have 4 new driver tires that are also going to be coming with this thing. So that means at some point when we wear the tires out in 58, we'll have a new set to put on there. So what the cost of what driver tires go for now, we basically bought 4 driver tires and got a free locomotive. I kid you not. So I'm real excited about this project. Now, if you ask, well, what are we going to do with this? Because it's missing the plate in the front, missing the plates in the back. I mean, no cab, no tank, no nothing. Well, kind of thinking about this. Do we really need to restore this as another tank engine? Because we have 2, potentially 3 that'll be tank engine someday. What if we did this as the tankless traditional steam locomotive, variant? Meaning no big plates on the front. Don't add the additional plates on the rear. Have a traditional smoke box front. Have a traditional pilot. Use the tank brackets there for running boards. Put jacketing on it. Leave the smoke box unjacketed, do the graphite paint on there, put a traditional looking cab on it. So basically take this and make it look like Porter would have made it had it not been a tank engine. So we're working on that right now and see what we can do, coming up with some designs as to what we want to do there, because I don't really think it's really advantageous to make another identical looking tank engine. Let's make this into something that looks a little bit different and is a little bit different, and then maybe something that we could even take to other places to operate. This would be nice if this could go somewhere else to operate for a period of time instead of just being stuck here. So there's that possibility. Yeah, who knows? I'm sure it would not go to Maine, because the guys up in Maine already told me none of the J&L engines are welcome up there. It would destroy their track. So we wouldn't be taking it up there. So you can all rest assured, my WWNF friends, this will not be showing up in Sheepscott one day. But there are other places that maybe we could run this thing at. And it does give us the opportunity to do something a little bit different. Perhaps we can find a 1 lung, or an 8-inch or 9-inch compressor that could go over here, so we have a traditional steam-driven compressor that we just can't fit on the other ones because we have a tank in the way. So yeah, let's have a let's have a little bit of fun with this one. You know, we've got this blank slate here that we can basically turn into whatever we want to do, and try to make this thing, you know, into a good running, beautiful, handsome little locomotive. So that's kind of what we're thinking of doing with this, and I'm really excited about this project. As many of you know, I love to build things, and I just love getting into a new project like this. So, all right, everyone, we're going to take this cylinder head off later on today and see what's in there and what the bore looks like, and do a little bit of exploration on this while we're waiting for Monday for the thing to be unloaded. So, all right, everyone, talk to you later.